If you're wondering what the market and your favorite stocks are likely to do this week, then this is the video for you. We're going to look at the VIX and the volatility. I'm going to show you guys a very powerful and specific strategy that I use and I teach in Discord. And I'm going to show you this somewhere in this video, so don't skip any part of it. I'm going to show you how you can gauge what's likely and almost guaranteed to happen tomorrow morning, and you're going to be able to do it tonight, and it is very powerful. We're going to look at the VIX. We're going to look at SPY, Tesla, NVIDIA, Palantir, SoFi, and we're also going to look at NVTS, NEO, and a couple other stocks as well. And we're going to gauge what is likely to happen this week, what's going on with data. These are just a few of the many strategies that I use and teach in Discord to make the profits you're seeing on the screen right now. It's how we crushed the Tempest AI play in one day. Students made $25,000 a day. We crushed Meta. Now we're about to crush it again. Crushed Palantir, Snowflake, Oracle, Broadcom, and the list goes on. Over the past couple of months, we have been just crushing all of these trades, and these are the strategies that we use, or just some of them, in order to achieve those profits you're seeing on the screen. If you're confused by anything you see in this video, maybe you don't understand what I'm talking about, maybe you just don't know where to begin, or it's too much, I would love to help you. The link to get started with Discord is in the information box below. Let's dive right into today's video. So looking here at the VIX, you can see that there was a big volatility spike that happened back in August and, of course, back in June. This is every time that there was tariffs brought up or issues globally, and these actually can drive the market into a spike of volatility. And when the VIX goes up, the stock market goes down. When the VIX goes down, the stock market goes up. This is typically how volatility works. We can see that it's come all the way down and consolidating, so we're due for a drop or a spike, more specifically a spike, as you can see by past events. We might get a little bit of a rise in the volatility, and we could see 20 or 21 in the next month or two, but it's really going to depend on data. Things have calmed down quite a bit, but it doesn't mean that it won't go back up. You have to be very careful. So we got that FOMC minutes coming up this Wednesday, and we also have the Michigan consumer sentiment, which is going to be on Friday, but no other data this week. So relatively a calm week based on data. It should be a decent week, but it's going to depend on news, tariff talk, and other things, interest rate cuts and the Feds, and what's said at the FOMC meeting will also play a pretty key and pivotal moment for volatility. I want to explain to you guys that when you see volatility in my levels, these are the levels I teach in Discord, very powerful levels that give you certainty on where to sell or buy options. And you can see here I have 18, then 20, then 25, and then 30. When you're below 18, it's best for buying usually because you're not going to get so much premium when you sell. In between green and yellow, it's still fairly buyers, but it starts switching over to buyer and sellers. And once you're between the yellow and the orange, between 20 and 25, it's definitely a seller's market, but you want to sell put options or call options on stocks that you intend to enter or exit to be safe. Remember, no more than 10% of your portfolio in any one position. Manage accordingly. There's a lot of risk in the market, so you have to understand that. But typically between orange and yellow is my high warning zone, and this is where you would be looking to sell options on stocks that are going down, but are likely to be very strong stocks just going down because there's volatility and maybe negative news, like the previous market crash we had about 6 months ago. Lots of stocks were prime opportunity to get in. I got in at Microsoft with my Discord at 385. We got in SPY just under 500, Meta just under 500, NEO at $4, SoFi at like 9. We had a great run of stocks that were very cheap. Affirm at 35 and even 30. When it dipped, Wayfair was around 30. So we got into a lot of stocks very cheap, and they all ran. We printed on every last one of them. And this is part of the strategy right here that I'm showing you, is you want to make sure that you're understanding the VIX. When the VIX is between orange and red, this is a option seller's dream on great stocks, but very risky. And you have to understand, you don't want to buy options if the VIX is above 20. You can still buy options on stocks that are likely to drop or run and you're certain of it, but it's very risky. Option buying will have a lot of IV crush because of the volatility, so you have to be very careful. As an option seller, you can acquire stocks a lot cheaper because the premium goes up. As the VIX goes down, implied volatility goes down. For example, if you were to sell a put on Palantir, you can see here it's 173. If you were to sell a 160 put going a week out, it's probably worth maybe $100, maybe a little less. But if the VIX was up here at 20, it might be 130. And if it's up here closer to 25, it might be 200. And if it's up here around 30, it might be $300 or $400. You can see that's a lot more value because as the volatility goes up, IV on the stock options goes up, and Vega multiplied by IV increases the value of these options. And this is how implied volatility works. As IV goes up, you pick stocks that are strong, long-term, and you start entering these positions with put options, or you exit positions with call options. And there's a lot of premium in the options chain on pretty much every stock at this point. But as you get above green and into yellow, pretty much warning. It's time to step back and reevaluate what you're looking to do, because anything above yellow starts to get dangerous, and above orange, it is very crazy. Looking at Coreweave, I put out a trade in my Discord back when Coreweave was 119. We are up big time on these options. I'm up a little over $8,000 on this trade in my one account, and $4,000 in my other account, or just under $4,000. So this was a really strong trade. Coreweave has dipped down, but when it came back up, it broke the recent structure right here, and it's currently trying to break this structure here. So it looks like we have some strength in the 130, 135 range, and this stock this week could go either way, but it's also likely to kind of move up that way as well. So we could be seeing this kind of a move from Coreweave this week. GameStop also dropped on their offering, but it's a buying opportunity in my opinion. I don't talk a lot about GameStop, but it's not really a meme stock anymore, because this company has almost their market cap, not quite, but almost their market cap in cash. They have offerings happening. They're like legitimately trying to run as a business now, no longer a meme stock. And Ryan Cohen has turned things around big time with GameStop. It's only going to be time that will tell if they can continue down this path to profitability, but overall much safer than it would be in the past. There's a lot of stability and support right here at 25. We'll see if it can hold on there. If not, dollar cost averaging is your best friend. It's what I teach in the Discord. Looking at Tesla, it is ran very high from 300, 350, now all the way up to 429. It recently peaked at 479. I'm willing to bet that this 479 had a recent interest somewhere. Let's take a look. And it did. On the daily chart, you can see when it hit the supply zone. This is something I teach in my Discord. Right there shows you everything you need to know. When it hit the recent supply zone where everybody sold back here, it's now selling off. And the reason is because when everybody was selling, there was people buying here. And when the stock tanked pretty much from last December all the way down, everyone who bought up here was bag holding. So when the stock came back up, they're all selling while new people are buying, and the buying has to overload the selling in order to push this price through the supply zone. It's very unlikely this will happen, but if it does, the new low for Tesla would be the supply zone. It's very rare in the market. It does happen, but very rare in the market does a stock do this number, come back up, and then finally break through, pull back, retest, and go that way, and then break back down. So basically, once this series of events happens, stock comes up, maybe it resists again, comes down, bounces, breaks through, pulls back, then bounces. This direction is literally what's likely to happen for a stock to break through. If this happens, then the new support would be in the 470 range. Somewhere between 470 and 485 in this little square right here, this would be your new support. It would be very unlikely if Tesla did this and broke through that it would fall back below 470 unless the news was absolutely horrendous, or it was, you know, some major black swan event worldwide or nationwide. But other than that, that would signify a new bottom for Tesla if that was to happen. But only time will tell. The tax credit issue is hurting them right now long term, but they have Optimus robots. They had a recent earnings that were really good, and they've only had 2 good earnings in the past 4 quarters. So it's really going to depend on the next upcoming earnings. If they crush and Elon Musk says things that investors and the market wants to hear, then Tesla could push through 500 on earnings. It's very, very risky. So be sure to manage this risk accordingly. Looking at Palantir, I told everyone to sell Palantir or get out back here when everyone was trying to buy more in August. It absolutely tanked from 190 all the way to 148. Actually, it was 143, 144. So that happened, and then it consolidated all the way across, and then it started running again, and I put out a trade in Discord when Palantir was 155. So somewhere back here, I put out a trade, which I will show you, and now Palantir has run all the way up here. Palantir is very likely to continue running. It's broke some structure here, but then consolidated in the 173 range. I think we're going to get some consolidation here and maybe a move upwards, but we're going to be in the 170s this week. It could drop below because there's some issues going on, particularly with the directors selling 20,000 shares, and then also some underperforming military software, which was no good. However, it's not the end of the world for this particular stock, Palantir, but it just kind of had investors spooked. So I've had people ask me to show my trades in the Discord in real time. Here's where I put out HUT, the 36 calls, and this was put out on September 24th. If we go back and look at September 24th, it was right here. The HUT trade was right there. I put it out. I'm going to show you guys the arrow. You can see that I put the HUT trade out right there. And if you look right here, you'll see HUT is right there. And we are in the green on this trade. It's not the only one. We're pretty much blowing every trade out of the water. I'll show you guys another one. I put out Coreweave on 9/12 for 130. And if we go look at Coreweave, which I already showed you guys, Coreweave 9/12 would have been right here. The trade was put out right there, September 12th, and it's way up here. So this is the move that's happened. There's the 12 right there. I put it out during this dip, and the stock has went from 108 to 130. We're up on that one. So I put out Spotify calls on October 1st, 5:46 p.m. when the market closed for 720 calls. You will see if I go back to October 1st, go to the 1 hour chart. I put out this trade right here, and then Spotify ran on the morning of the 1st, and we got out. We printed. It was the same day trade, but the stock went from 693 to 720. We made a lot of money on Spotify. So this just goes on and on to show you guys the profits that we're making. If I go over here to the screenshot profits, you'll see that Nick Lowe grew his $8,000 account to $12,000, and this happened in a week. This is just one of his accounts. Another student made $28,000 in 3 months, 30%, 35% to be exact in 3 months, 10%, 12% per month. Chris right here made $16,000, and if we keep going up, you'll see $3,600. This student here made $20,000 in 1 month. This student made $24,000 in a month, and the list goes on. $3,800, almost $4,000, almost another $4,000. This student here made another $400 in one trade. Tim made $91,000 in a month. Another student here made $577 on one trade. First big profits since joining the Discord. First week, $577 profit in one trade. See here that German made $3,000 on this one trade. Another student here made $20,000 in 3 months. Again, Tina, thank you very much, Corey. Considering that I still have a lot to learn and have perfected nothing thus far, options trading, you have been an excellent mentor. Looking forward to this. Tina is very new in my Discord, made $20,000 in the last 3 months, which is over 30%. You can see consistently my students are printing my Coreweave trade, my love trade, $23,000 for Wilbur Jess in 1 week in 2 different trades. So this is what my students are doing in the Discord. If you want to make these kinds of profits and understand what's going on in the market, let me show you how to take action now. Don't put it off any further. Let me help you grow your portfolio. The link to get started is in the information box below. I look forward to seeing you very soon. Looking at SoFi, it had a recent pullback down to the $25 range, and this is part of the government shutdown. Cyclicals, fintechs, financials are going to do this, but SoFi is very strong. It's a buying opportunity. You can now get into SoFi by selling put options around $24. And I think this is a very good spot to sell put options between 21 and 24. You're unlikely to get a sign at 21. Anything's possible. It could happen, but it's on the unlikely side as the market is likely to consolidate forward and move up like this. But this is an opportune moment to get in. Everybody says the same thing. The stocks go up. Oh, I should have got in. Pulls back. Then they don't get in. Then when it runs, I should have got in. You're never going to be able to get into a stock that's green and rising and it just keep rising. This is not how it works. When a stock pulls back, you should be looking to sell puts below the pullback or at the pullback to get in. Or you're very bullish, because I teach my students this all the time. Put options out of the money is a bearish strategy. Put options at the money is neutral. Put options that are in the money are bullish. So I would be selling put options at 26 to collect that big premium. And if the stock runs, then it's free premium. The stock does not run and consolidates, I get a sign, but I collect all that premium. SoFi, another strong stock, and I would definitely want more position in it. I'm constantly adding to SoFi in my big account. Very strong stock. Bank of America, another strong stock. Earnings coming up in 10 days, and this one's going to be good. They've been crushing earnings every single time. I think that it's going to continue, and it's very likely to continue, and Bank of America is going to have some good guidance, most likely. That's what I'm anticipating, and it's going to go up. It's a buying opportunities. It's dropped from 53 down to the $50 range, so it's consolidating on support. Looking on Meta, same thing. They acquired a tech company. They intend to build silicon chips and GPUs with this company they acquired, yet the stock went down on this good news. They're competing with NVIDIA, but for whatever reason, it's been selling off. There's been some shaky news with Meta, but it's not really been that bad. It's been relatively neutral to good, yet it's still selling off. However, this is a buying opportunity because the most recent high was 800. Now it's down to 710. So there's a lot of potential to get into Meta. Anything below 720 is good. Below 700 is even better. I personally personally think that based on technical analysis and my AVP, which I teach in Discord, by the way, very powerful tool, that Meta is strongest between 600 and 700, and more particularly between 630 and 660. This range here is where my AVP is, and the stock is returning to that. So once it gets down to 700 or 695, if it was to continue that path, which is kind of unlikely, it looks like it's going to consolidate around 695 to 700. That's where I'd look to enter Meta, because then that's where the run would begin, most likely, is after it comes down, consolidates, then this big run would happen on Meta. There could be some more downside all the way over here, and then it runs. But this is long-term investing. You want to be safe. No more than 10% of your portfolio in any one stock. Watch your portfolio. Keep an eye on it. Be safe. Don't over leverage into any one sector or any one position. But Meta has a lot of room to move. NIO, very strong stock at this point in time. Sales keep going up and the growth keeps going up. Earnings was much better. A lot of good news coming out of China and NIO particularly. So this stock is likely to consolidate where it's at and go higher because it broke the recent structure of 757, which means this is now the support right here. You can see how it came back down and now it's supported back here based on its most recent break of structure at 750 and 760, which if we go back, you'll see is right here. All this recent low is now becoming the high right here. So it's now trekking into this territory in the 750 range. Very strong, as long as we don't get bad catalyst, bad news, or a reduction by an analyst, or a downgrade, so to speak, or they don't have a bad earnings or anything doesn't go poor for NIO. This is going to be the new norm for NIO, and it's going to be in the $7.50 range, give or take a little bit. It's going to be in the sevens, low to mid sevens, maybe higher. It broke the most recent structure, so the fundamentals are there based on psychology and based on investor sentiment for the stock, which is very important. Psychology is huge. It's what I teach in Discord every single day. It's a big part of the market. In fact, it's a majority of the market. Without it, you'll never be successful. Nobody teaches that because nobody understands it, but it is a major part of understanding the market is psychology. Looking at Navitas, this is another stock that I told everyone to buy on YouTube. I told my Discord even earlier to buy it way back here when it was $5. And I also told them the first time to buy it back here when it was like $3. Navitas, if we're going off of the most recent time I explained to buy this stock, it was $5.50. I said it was a great buying opportunity. The stock ran to $8.50. It's now sitting at $7.82. This is another stock that's likely to consolidate, breaking most recent structure here. This now is the structure that's broken. So it's now the bottom. It's now working on breaking this structure, which it briefly did and pulled back along with the market, but it's now consolidating right here. So it's likely this is the bottom, then it moves up. Outside of bad news or a black swan event or anything major, it is likely that's where it's going to be. However, it could go lower. Anything's possible in the market, but if it was to go lower, it would consolidate in the mid to high sixes or low sevens right in here, which is where my AVP is. So this is looking really good for Navitas. We already looked at HUT earlier. HUT has run. I explained how I put out trades on HUT, very strong. NVIDIA is also very strong, supported right here on the 176, moved all the way up and broke every recent structure, as you can see. So NVIDIA is now holding strength at 184. It's now at 187, very strong to consolidate in this range. So I think that NVIDIA is going to hold this moving forward as long as there's no major negative event that happens, because anything is possible in the market at any given time. SPY is going higher and higher. I told everyone this past winter, by end of summer, 635, 640 on the SPY was easy. 650 by end of year. There you go. We broke 660 by end of summer, and now we're 670 and could go 680 by end of the year. So the SPY is just skyrocketed all year long because the market has. But understand, there's a lot of control in SPY based on Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google, and Microsoft. So if SPY is going down, yet Microsoft or Google's going up, maybe Amazon's consolidating, and you're like, wait a minute, why is SPY going down if the other stocks are going up? Because Apple's got a big control of SPY, or a big portion. So if Apple's tanking or dropping really aggressively, it will bring the SPY with it. And if the Mag 7's going down, the SPY is sinking because it's a big portion of the SPY. Understand that Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Google, these stocks, big portion of the SPY. If they're not doing good, SPY is in rough territory. A lot of this move is Meta and Apple and Amazon. Of course, Google and Microsoft do have a share, so does Meta, but really the big ones are Amazon, Apple, Amazon and Apple control a big share. So does Microsoft. They're all up. Pretty much all the stocks are up. That's why it's up. So understand that if, say, Apple and Google and maybe Amazon or something like that were to drop, it would really weigh down heavy on the SPY. So just understand what's actually in the SPY when you're investing in it. AMD broke all the structure up here at 168, but now dropped down to 164. Be cautious investing in AMD. It is likely to consolidate back into the 160 range. This is a stock that I called out when a lot of people were hating on me back in February in my live streams, telling me 105 was a bad buy. So bad, 105 not good. And this was back here, and the stock ran all the way to 186. So if you had taken that, you would have made 75, 80% in 4 months. And I told everyone AMD would be good this year, and it is, along with every other stock that I called. It's how we're printing in the Discord. I explained this many times. I told everyone to get into Snowflake, Oracle, Broadcom, Tempest, Meta, Microsoft. List goes on and on. Also, Wayfair, Robinhood, Palantir, AMD, NVIDIA, all these stocks that I called in the Discord, all these trades I called, we have printed on them. Now it's time to show you guys the strategy that I've been promising in this video, how you're going to be able to gauge the market tomorrow and do it tonight. It is very powerful. But first, if you want to make the profits that you're seeing on the screen, the profits like we made on Oracle, Broadcom, Tempest, Snowflake, Wayfair, Affirm, Robinhood, Palantir, NVIDIA, Tesla, the list goes on and on. If you want to make these profits that we're making, grow your portfolio and live the life you ultimately deserve, don't put it off today for tomorrow because someone else put off yesterday for today. Take action right now. The link to get started is in the information box below. I've been able to live my best life, going from bankruptcy to buying any of the cars I've wanted to buy, do the things I've wanted to do, get a new house, take my parents on vacations, help my dad buy vehicles, help my dad buy a truck, help my mom fix her house. I've been able to live the life I've always wanted to live, and you can too. I have students that are doing it right now. I have turned Josh from $300,000 to $800,000 in 5 months, and now he officially made $1 million. He's breaking the $1 million mark right now, and he's just one of the many students. I also have a student, Xander, who went from $12,000 to $112,000 in 1 month. Now he's pushing $120,000, $8,000 more in profit since last week when we did our one-on-one. But don't take my word for it and everything I'm telling you right now. Let's take a listen to what my student Xander had to say. Today we are here with one of my newest students, Xander. How you doing, Xander?
Good.
Awesome. Glad to hear.
Yeah. So when I was watching other YouTubers, they were really pushing a certain mode of saying oh, you're going to make $1 million, over 500,000 with such a small account, and pushing so many numbers that just seems so unrealistic, where you seem to push a more focused strategy and actually explain stuff more to the point instead of just pushing the Discord. And it just made me pick yours over everyone else's. You didn't try and give unrealistic expectations, right? You actually gave a focused and clear strategy to how we'd make money.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear. And that is the goal.
I originally started with $12,000 when I joined your Discord. I'd never done options before that. And it's kind of crazy what I'm at now. From $12,000 just a month in your Discord, I'm at just over $104,000. So just unbelievable, life-changing money. It's just crazy.
Wow. So you went from 12,000 over 104,000 in 1 month in the Discord.
Yeah, just unbelievable. I couldn't believe it when I did around 9 trades, and just the amount of success that your trades were and so accurate. It's like 9 out of 9 trades, 104,000 from 12. I couldn't thank you more. It's just been awesome.
Awesome. That is amazing success. And in 1 month, that is like a 10x return, which is
1,000%. Yeah, over 1,000% I made in 1 month, just from your strategies and just from what you've put out in the Discord.
Based on what it cost you to join and what you've made and the group itself and just overall the education I provide, is it worth it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, people need to understand that your Discord community is insane. I made, in the span of a month, I made 12 new friends that have just been helping me and explaining to me trades that I haven't even thought about taking that were put out from you, and just explain the trades and give me an overall better understanding of how your Discord works. And if anybody's thinking of joining the Discord, 100% please go through those training modules. They're step by step, and obviously they'll learn at your pace. So if you can't do it some days, it's okay. But those training modules really gave me a baseline of how to actually do the options, how to take Corey's trades. And once I got to the module, I got through in the week. I just destroyed them all. I loved learning. After that, I started to take trades, and there's just profits from there. Unbelievable. And I just couldn't thank Corey more.
So you heard my student Xander had to say, if you want this to be your success story, then you can get started with the link to joining Discord at any time below. I look forward to helping you on your journey as well. So here we go. In order to gauge the market, what's likely to happen tomorrow, almost guaranteed, because it's always accurate, you're going to type type in MES and go to micro mini S&P 500 futures. A lot of people are going to ask in particular why I'm showing a May 12th event, and that's because the May 12th event was so big, it will show you ahead of time before major events happen. So you can see here on Sunday, May the 11th, which is right before Monday, May 12th, the SPY gapped up, or the S&P 500 futures gapped up. If we go over to SPY, exact same thing. If we run over to May 12th, you will see right here, SPY gapped all the way up. If we go over to Meta and we go back to May 12th, you will see the exact same thing happen. I'll show you guys right here, May 12th, right there, and it gapped all the way up. What I'm basically showing you is whatever happens in the MES happens the following day in the market. There's other events that happened inside of the S&P mini futures, which also gauge movement in the stock market ahead of time. And you can easily see these when I show you guys exactly on the chart where it's happening. So if you see the MES go up and gap up like this, then that means it's likely to be a strong market move tomorrow. If the MES gaps down, well, then it's likely to be in the downside of things for Monday morning. However, if it gaps up, the current price becomes support. If it gaps down, the current price becomes resistance. And the reason for this is that the Tokyo and Chinese stock market open at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern time, and they open the markets in London at 2 a.m. Eastern. So there's a lot of activity going on in the after hours on Sunday night, which is indicative of what's likely to happen Monday morning. And it's very accurate. And the reason I showed you the May 12th event is anytime there's a black swan event, it's going to hit MES first. Just like last week when it started running here on Wednesday in the overnight hours, you can see that on the SPY last Wednesday, which was right here, it started running in the overnight hours. And in the morning on Thursday, it ran up on the SPY. So the MES is indicative of what's likely to happen. You want to watch this at 6 p.m. Eastern when it opens tonight, 3 p.m. Pacific. Very important. This will help you gauge the market. If you guys want to take full control of your potential, the link to get started with Discord is below. I would love to help you. I look forward to seeing you in the Discord very soon and on the next video. One love, fam.